Hey, thanks for joining us. In today's episode, we're building this bird condo birdhouse. Stay with us.
Desperado, sitting in a old Monte Carlo, a man whose heart is hollow.
Welcome to the wood shop by Two Dumbasses. Today it's just going to be the number one dumbass. And today we're building this bird condo birdhouse. So as you can see, there's some decorations, some Art Deco designs here, and I'm going to walk you through it. So I'm not going to give you materials. I'm really using scrap pine that I'm painting, but I'll give you the dimensions that I'm using. There's a lot of flexibility in this design, and I really just was looking through pictures on Pinterest when I came across some looks that I really liked, and then I just converted those to design, and here we go. So step one here is going to be building the base, this base green piece here around the outside, and I'm going to do that with a 1x12. You could probably get by with a 1x10 out of pine, and then I'm going to paint it green. So stay with us. So as I said, I'm using 1x12s just because I have it. You could probably get by 1x10s. You just have to change a little bit of the dimensions. I don't have a template for this. I just drew something, took some measurements off it. It's it's up to you, but the key characteristics here that I'm trying to protect on this design is the back edge has to be straight. This is going to be my back wall, and I want that to be flush of the birdhouse. And then this right side is going to be at a 90-degree angle to that, up to a point, and that point is going to be 6 inches. So I'm going to measure from this back right corner 6 inches forward. And then in the middle of this, I want the front part of it to be 10 inches deep. So what I did is, what I'm doing here is just putting a couple marks at 6 inches on the left side, 10 inches on the front. And then I'm just using some variation of different size circles. This is just the top to a coffee can. I'm going to use the bottom of this bottle for some of my curves that I'm going to be making. And I'm just going to use... So now that I've got this drawn on here, this is what I'm going to use. Again, you don't have to put... It doesn't have to be exactly like this. What's important is that this has to be... this section of the base has to be wider than what boards you're going to use for the ends, and obviously the base, the bottom platform has to be wider than what the total length of the birdhouse condo is going to be. So I'm making this area out here, some area for a bench and a fireplace, and this is going to be my wood storage area. So again, no rights or wrongs here. I'm not very artistic at all, but between a bandsaw and a drum sander, I'm confident we can get this done. So next step here is let's cut this out and sand it, and then I'll paint it green and let that dry, and we'll go on to the next steps. As you can see, we've got our platform made. This piece, that's the base of our bird condo. Again, don't get too caught up into the dimensions, shape of this thing. The only thing you want to make sure is that you got a square edge, square corner here, and that this distance here is at least the distance to your end, and it's all good. So speaking of the end, the next step here is to cut this end and this end. So to do that, this end is a little wider. It's 5.5 inches, and you want it, you don't have to, but from Art Deco standpoint, I've got just a little bit of an edge here that goes past the front of the house. So this is dimensions 5.5 by 9 inches. and that will set something similar to that. I might cut a little bit more off the lip here. I'm using car siding for my I had scrap car siding around here. If you didn't, this would be a perfect 1x6 size. And so that's one end. The tall end is 5.5 by 9, and the shorter end, the opposite end, is 4.5 by 5 inches. So 9 inches on this side, 5 inches on this side, and we'll attach those in the next step. Okay, let me get you caught up here. I did a couple things for the end pieces. You saw me on the sander, and I'm just putting a little bit of a bevel on here because the roof is going to set at an angle like this. If you had it square, it would leave a little bit of a gap here. So it's just a cosmetic thing. You can do it or not do it, but it allows the roof to set a little bit better on there. I think it's about a 23-degree angle. I'm not sure. I don't even measure it. I just take the edge off here and put a bevel on there and screw it in. So that's I did that on both ends. The 9-inch end, that's a little wider, and then the 6-inch, 5-inch end on the opposite end. Now then you saw me cut the front and back of the birdhouse. So again, this is 9 inches on this side and 5 inches on this side, and I just drew a straight line and cut it using my power miter box. So I'll cut a couple more of these and then we'll start assembling. By the way, I'm making 2 of these birdhouses at the same time, so if you see me messing around with double cuts and things like that, that's the reason. So let me cut the next another front and back pair here, and then we'll get to the next step, which is going to be assembly. Okay, at this stage we've got a little bit of assembly. I'm going to use 1-inch 18-gauge brads, but you could use screws. You could probably glue it and put clamps on it. But I'm trying to hide some of the fasteners on the front and the back, just to make it a little more appealing. So what we're going to do is put the 2 sides together with the front and the end. I did need to make a couple of adjustments, so I measured back 2 inches on my side, and that's where I'm going to put my one end. This is going to be where the logs are stored at the end. You'll see in the pictures here. But I'm going to nail this real quick, and then I'll come back and put the other side on. So that's the log storage end. On the other end, again, make sure you've got your bevel in the right position here. And this goes on the end. I'm going to measure this. I've got just a little bit, 1/8 under 4 inches. So I want to make sure that this is and we've got our basic frame made here. Okay, here's a pro tip that I think adds a lot of character, and it does have a little bit of functionality. So I put a squirrel guard on the hole here. A lot of times the squirrels come up here and will chew the hole open and create problems. But I also like the way it looks. So an easy way to do this, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Most people would take a block of wood and take a hole saw and cut a hole in it and drill a hole. But I bought these wheels at Hobby Lobby, and what I'm going to do is just take the middle or the spokes out of these wheels. I've got some solid ones and one with spokes. One with spokes I can just hammer out and it's done. The ones that are solid I have to drill out. I've done both. They both work well, but this is just easier and quicker. So I'm going to take this hub out. You're going to see me take this hub out, and then I'll paint this black, and then ultimately we'll glue and staple that to the outside of the birdhouse opening. Of course, no birdhouse would be complete without a chimney, so I cut a strip 2 inches wide. This is 3/4, 2 inches wide, and I believe this is black locust wood, but I mean, you can use anything you want, including pine, oak, walnut, whatever, but I'm just gonna cut a chimney, so I'm gonna leave this 2 inches up to the top, and then eventually put a curve in this, and then it will go up to the chimney that goes through the roof, or look like it goes through the roof. You'll see that process. So I'm gonna just freehand this, take it over to the bandsaw, and cut this chimney out. All right, we're getting down to the home stretch here, so let's attach this bottom part to the base, and for that I'm going to use 1 1/4 inch screws, and I'll countersink from the bottom side. I just want it to be a little more secure. So the key here is just lining it up so you've got enough base all the way around. I just eyeball it, and I'm going to drill these 2 side holes on this side, the straight edge on the back first, because that's easy to line, and then drill 1 or 2 for the front side to hold it down. Okay, we got the platform attached here, 2 screws. If we wanted to, we could take that off, take the bottom off to clean it out every year, but I'm planning on putting screws in the top 2, which would make it a little bit easier. But there's our platform. Okay, time to put the chimney for the fireplace on the outside. I'm just gonna find a spot and set it on here, and then I'm gonna go on the back side and just mark it, and then I'll go over to my power miter box and cut it just a little bit short of that line that I marked on here. That'll be the part that I glue and nail to the front here, and then the rest of it goes on the roof, and I attach it with a screw from the bottom side. I'll probably cut the top of this chimney to a little bit shorter. That's your preference, how long you want the chimney to be through the roof. All right, to put the chimney on the roof here, I made cut a piece of wood. Mine is 12 inches long. Honestly, I wish I would have made it a little bit longer, a little more overhang, maybe 13 or 14 inches long, but 12 inches long. This one's 7 inches wide. You can make it as wide or narrow as you want, as long as it covers, the top of the birdhouse. I wanted it to be a little bit wider here to allow for the chimney to go through. And I'm going to make it flush in the back here, just a little easier to nail it on. There is just a little bit overhang on this. But step 1 before you attach the roof is you want to kind of eyeball the center of the chimney and put a mark there where you're going to drill your hole, and then come back and attach your chimney from the other side. Okay, we're getting down the home stretch here. We got our chimney on. Now I want to put a couple screws in the roof to allow it to to allow it to be cleaned out at the end of the year. So I've got this roof flush in the back with a little bit of overhang. I'm trying to line up my chimney here so it looks good from the front. I think that's pretty close. And then I'm gonna drill probably three holes here. Okay, there's our bird. I'm called Bird Condo. Super cute, pretty unique. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Take a shot at this. It's pretty easy. You're basically making a box and then putting it on a platform and then adding a bunch of neat little character to it. So, hey, thanks for watching. Would love to have you subscribe down below. Check out the rest of our channel. We'll put a couple videos or episodes at the end of this one if you want to continue watching. But until next time, be safe, have fun, make some sawdust.